and welcome to A God Shift with Shayna Rattler. I am a minister and life coach who helps individuals partner with God to embrace disruption and confidently enter into the next chapter of their life. A God shift is the moment a disruption in your life collides with God's purpose and moves you into a greater destiny. God uses this disruption to get our attention, to invite us into the life that He has planned for us. It's important that we discover what He wants us to see, what we are to learn, and where He needs us next. Today we are discussing the importance of releasing what no longer serves you. One of the most important yet difficult parts of the process when we are shifting is letting go. And the truth is that you cannot reach forward for what is in front of you if you're still holding on to what is behind you. Now, the good news is that God places that new thing just far enough out that you have to let go of the old thing in order to grab hold of the new. Here are 4 areas of your life that you may need to release. Number 1 are your old attitudes. These are your old accomplishments. Here's what I know. What got you here probably will not get you there. Number 2 are your old ambitions. Those things that you used to crave are probably going to make you miss your old calling. Number 3 are your old accomplishments. They're probably not going to be relevant if you're reaching for something new. And sometimes God is going to ask you to let go of trash, and other times He's going to ask you to let go of treasures. And those trashy things, those things that hurt and the things that we identify as bad, sometimes those can be easier to let go of. But what about those treasures? What about that job that you have made the most amount of money that you have ever made before? Will you be able to let go of those as well? And number 4 are your old animosities. Those are the things that have hurt you and keep you stuck. And there is not going to be any room for your assignment if you are holding on to those things. When we come back, I have a guest that is in the middle of her God shift, and you don't want to miss her story. I'll see you then. Get lost in the pages of our latest book and discover the destiny you were created for. Another dimension of possibility awaits you, but a God shift is required to reveal it and access it. In A God Shift, a divine move from disruption to destiny, Shayna Rattler takes you on the journey of how she turned a once highly successful business that failed fast and left her questioning where God was taking her next into a thriving ministry and fulfilling life that affords her the opportunity to help others grow their faith and successfully navigate the seasons of life. This inspirational guide outlines the steps to confidently put your God shift in motion. Your next chapter is waiting. Are you ready to shift? Grab your copy at agodshiftbook.com. Are you looking for ways to support the God Shift movement and others in need? Grab one of our premium tees at agodshift.com/shop, and we will donate 20% of the sales to the National Christian Foundation. These t-shirts are made of 100% premium soft cotton, come in white women's fit and black traditional fit, and are available in sizes extra small through 4X. It's time to embrace disruption, collide with God's purpose, and confidently shift into the next chapter of your life. Share your shift with the world by proudly wearing a God Shift t-shirt. Grab one for yourself and those you love at agodshift.com/shop. Welcome back. My guest today is in the middle of a recent God shift where she is learning exactly what does and does not belong in her life. Let's find out what those things are. Welcome to the show, Stephanie Ferris. Hey, Stephanie.
Hey there, Shayna.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So I wanted to share a little bit about your story. So what unexpected circumstances are you experiencing at the moment?
I'm experiencing a disruption in my career.
Tell us about it.
So for the past 5 years, I worked in corporate America for a global energy company where in an administrative management capacity in the C-suite where I was highly valued, highly visible. I had oversight and authority from the U.S. to the U.K. I was traveling to places I didn't know existed. I was being elevated and promoted. In all honesty, I really did have favor with God and with man. And throughout that time, saw people come, saw people go. During this time, God provided an opportunity for me to step into a role that they had created for me. And shortly thereafter, God whispered to me that my time there was up. He didn't give me any other instruction. He just said, your time is up. So I continued to show up day in and day out, doing what I do, making things happen, getting things done. And towards the latter part of 2019, we experienced a change in leadership. And that's when the writing on the wall began. Enter 2020, we enter into a global pandemic. We have a pandemic within that pandemic. During this time, the company, we were experiencing layoffs, and the current position that I was in at the time, that position was eliminated. However, because I was valued and because I was well respected and because I had God's favor, although the position was eliminated, I as the person was not. They wanted me to stay on. By this time, though, I had gotten to the place where I really was ready to go and began praying and asking God, what now? What next? And really started preparing for what I prayed for. We go on a few months on down the road, and one day, actually I had given God a date in which I was gonna leave. I was like, God, by September the 15th, Monday, September the 15th, I'm gonna be at my new job, doing my new thing in my new role. That day came and went, and found myself still at the company. And shortly thereafter, I never will forget, it was a Friday, October 16th. I had gotten up that morning. I had taken a bag to work that day, actually, and started putting some of my personal belongings in the bag because the company was going to be closing down the headquarters where we were, the office where we were, and moving to another office. But I had already told God I wasn't really concerned about that because I wasn't going to be moving when they moved. I wasn't going to be there anymore, so I didn't have anything to worry about. And got called into the CEO's office. Saw HR in there, didn't think anything of it. And it was at that moment that they told me my position was eliminated. I was released, removed, kicked out, upsized, downsized, terminated, ejected, never to return. And that's what happened.
Wow. And so what do you think God is trying to get you to see?
There were so many things. The main thing God wanted me to see is that He does hear our prayers and He does answer. How the answer came about, it was the answer to my prayer. It wasn't the way that I thought He was going to answer.
Wow.
I was supposed to tell them that I was leaving. I had it all planned out. I'm going to give them my 2-week notice. I'm going to tell them thank you for the 5 years of allowing me to share my talents, my gifts, my abilities, all that. And they beat me to the punch.
Wow. You guys, there's more to this story. When we come back from the break, you're going to hear what happened next.
Ready for a gotcha.
Get lost in the pages of our latest book and discover the destiny you were created for. Another dimension of possibility awaits you, but a God shift is required to reveal it and access it. In A God Shift, a divine move from disruption to destiny, Shayna Rattler takes you on the journey of how she turned a once highly successful business that failed fast and left her questioning where God was taking her next into a thriving ministry and fulfilling life that affords her the opportunity to help others grow their faith and successfully navigate the seasons of life. This inspirational guide outlines the steps to confidently put your God shift in motion. Your next chapter is waiting. Are you ready to shift? Grab your copy at agodshiftbook.com.
Prisoner of Hope introduces The Vault, a membership community offering a library of videos designed to prepare and support you.
Many others, including myself, have gone through the long battle with the American justice system and have come out on the other side.
The Vault was created by families impacted by incarceration, along with experts. We know how to help because we've experienced it firsthand.
Remember, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel.
It's time to unlock your freedom in The Vault. Sign up now at prisonerofhopetv.com.
It's time to move. Your next chapter is waiting now. It may be difficult, but it's gonna be worth it all. Get ready for a God shift, calling you higher, calling for greater. It's time to move. Your next chapter is waiting now. It may be difficult, but it's gonna be worth it all. Get ready for a God shift, God shift.
Welcome back. Before the break, our guest Stephanie was sharing with us how the job of her dreams was literally snatched away from her. Let's hear about what happened next. So Stephanie, you're on this job. A position gets eliminated, but they don't eliminate you, right? They say, we like you so much and you're doing such a great job here. We just want to give you another position. And then that one gets taken away from you as well. You lose that job and you're no longer at this company. So what is the biggest challenge that you're experiencing right now?
Honestly, the biggest challenge I'm experiencing is surrendering to this process. This has been a difficult transition because it's been transitions within the transition, and doing my best not to try to make sense of why this happened and how it happened.
So what are some of those other transitions inside of the transition? Because your story is a good story.
So inside of the transition is, there's been a transition in my physical environment, my living situation. There's been a transition in my purpose, really. So during this time, I was able to release a prayer journal. And so it was just kind of a reminder that in between the blow, there is a blessing.
That's good.
And I know that the creation and the birth of the prayer journal, God had to allow the removal and release of the job in order for me to bring that project into fruition. And so I'm left with, again, transition in how am I going to now continue to fund my future? You know, that my corporate role was my main source of multiple stream of income. It was my livelihood. That's how I paid my bills. That's how I jet set it across the country. That's what funded my, late night Haagen-Dazs butter pecan ice cream indulgences, all these things. And so I'm dealing with a transition of emotions and what's going to happen on the other side of this.
Yeah. That's a great example of the fact that God will give you beauty for your ashes. So, she has something that is taken away from her and it feels like devastation, but look at the development during the process when you're going through something, and look at how something beautiful can even be birthed out of disruption. So that's a great thing. So Stephanie, you're going through this situation right now. How is this affecting your faith or your relationship with God?
My faith has definitely been tested during this process. And one of the things that I have learned is that when you pray and ask God for something, be prepared for Him to answer. The answer is not going to come how you think it's going to come. And so with that, and with my faith being tested, there were moments where I was experiencing disappointment. I was feeling defeated. I was angry. I was angry with God. Like, God, how did you allow this to happen? Why did you allow this to happen this way? I was frustrated with Him. But throughout all of this, God also showed me that my faith is stronger than I think. And that even though I have those moments where I feel overlooked, where I feel rejected, where it's uncomfortable in the uncertainty, that I do still have faith. that my faith is not absent. My faith is actually what's keeping me anchored. And so that's what I'm learning throughout this process.
Yeah, that's really good, because so many people in the response of, God, why is this, happening? Why are you allowing this to happen? Why are you taking me down this path? Even though I told you that I wanted to leave that job, you could become, in that anger, you could turn your back on God. And so I'm so glad to see that you were wise enough not to do that. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to learn a little bit more when we come back about exactly where Stephanie is now. See you then.
Ready for a God shift, God shift.
Hey guys, I am so excited to share something really cool with you. There's an organization called Black Christian Influencers that has some amazing people. Some that you may know, some that you may not, but they all are doing some amazing work in the kingdom. So if you can, go on over to the page at Black Christian Influencers, or you can visit the website at www.blackchristianinfluencers.com.
Are you looking for ways to support the God Shift movement and others in need? Grab one of our premium tees at agodshift.com/shop, and we will donate 20% of the sales to the National Christian Foundation. These t-shirts are made of 100% premium soft cotton, come in white women's fit and black traditional fit, and are available in sizes extra small through 4X. It's time to embrace disruption, collide with God's purpose, and confidently shift into the next chapter of your life. Share your shift with the world by proudly wearing a God Shift t-shirt. Grab one for yourself and those you love at agodshift.com/shop.
It's time to move. Your next chapter is waiting now. It may be difficult, but it's gonna be worth it all. Get ready for a God shift, calling you higher, calling for greater. It's time to move. Your next chapter is waiting now. It may be difficult, but it's gonna be worth it all. Get ready for a God shift,
Welcome back. Let's find out exactly what is happening in Stephanie's life now. So Stephanie, what have you learned about yourself during this process?
There have been a myriad of things that I've learned. The most important thing that I've learned throughout this process is to trust the God in me. I've learned to be more of an advocate for Stephanie, to go harder for Stephanie, to be just as proud of Stephanie as I am for other people. I've learned to really love myself, and to that I'm more courageous than I think I am. I learned that there is more to me and in me than what I see, than what others see. And it's evident in how God has been showing up in my life, like I said, with the release of the prayer portfolio. The fact that I'm even here doing this show is an answer to that prayer, and God's way of saying, you asked me to show you what more I saw of you. You asked me, you prayed Jeremiah 33:3. I told you to call on me, and I will answer you, and I will show you wonderful things that you do not know about, things to come. And I'm seeing the physical manifestation of the things that I mentally prepared for.
Yeah. And so based on what you know now, what advice would you give the version of who you were before this God shift?
The advice that I would give is to allow God to be first and final authority in everything.
Yeah, that's good. So you're right, you are stronger than what you thought you were. But you also feel like you need to rush through this season, and you can't do that. So as tough as it may feel right now, and as much as you want to get past this, God is telling you that there's more for you to learn in this season than what He's already shown you. So stop trying to do, focus more on who you need to become, and don't rush this process, because it's just like food. If you take it out too soon, it's not going to be good. So if you try to take yourself out of this process before he's done with you, just know that he's preparing you for what it is that he has prepared for you. And if you rush this process, you're going to mess up your next opportunity because you won't fully be ready, okay? So just rest and rejuvenate and just continue to trust, because you're on the right path. Just don't try to get ahead of him, okay?
Okay.
So you did a great job. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I know that someone is going to tremendously be blessed by your story. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. We'll be right back.
Ready for a God shift, God shift.
Get lost in the pages of our latest book and discover the destiny you were created for. Another dimension of possibility awaits you, but a God shift is required to reveal it and access it. In A God Shift, a divine move from disruption to destiny, Shayna Rattler takes you on the journey of how she turned a once highly successful business that failed fast and left her questioning where God was taking her next into a thriving ministry and fulfilling life that affords her the opportunity to help others grow their faith and successfully navigate the seasons of life. This inspirational guide outlines the steps to confidently put your God shift in motion. Your next chapter is waiting. Are you ready to shift? Grab your copy at agodshiftbook.com. Are you looking for ways to support the God Shift movement and others in need? Grab one of our premium tees at agodshift.com/shop, and we will donate 20% of the sales to the National Christian Foundation. These t-shirts are made of 100% premium soft cotton, come in white women's fit and black traditional fit, and are available in sizes extra small through 4X. It's time to embrace disruption, collide with God's purpose, and confidently shift into the next chapter of your life. Share your shift with the world by proudly wearing a God Shift t-shirt. Grab one for yourself and those you love at agodshift.com/shop.
Get ready for a God shift, God shift.
Welcome back. On today's show, Stephanie shared how losing her job is leading her to learn how to let go while also deepening her faith. The hardest part of shifting to something new and forgetting old things is giving up control. So what or who do you need to release today to get to where God needs you next? If your life is faced with unexpected circumstances and you want to get unstuck into where God needs you next, download our free guide, When God Says Shift, at godsayshift.com. Thank you so much for joining us today. I can't wait to see you next week. Bye-bye.
Ready for a